My name is Tasha, and for a few terrifying weeks, I lived with the fear that someone could take my daughter away from me. Not because I hurt her, not because I neglected her, but because my ex wanted revenge, and he knew the easiest way to destroy a woman is to call her a bad mother. He told anyone who would listen that I was unstable, dangerous, unfit. He called Child Protective Services on me twice. For a while, it felt like his lies were winning. Until one day, a social worker let me hear a recording that changed everything. This is the story of how I almost lost my child to a man who never wanted to be a father, and how his own mouth became my best defense. I had my daughter, Layla, when I was 24. Her father, Andre, was my boyfriend at the time, charming, funny, and completely unprepared to be a parent. When I told him I was pregnant, he laughed at first. "Stop playing," he said. When he realized I wasn't joking, the smile disappeared. He paced the room, hands on his head. "This is going to ruin everything," he muttered. "My music career is just starting. I can't be tied down right now." His music career was a couple of local gigs and a SoundCloud page. But to him, it was everything. I told him, "I'm keeping the baby. I'm scared, but I'm keeping her. You can decide if you want to be involved or not." He stayed. Physically, at least. He came to a few doctor's appointments, posted ultrasounds on his Instagram with captions like, "My little princess loading." People commented, "Best dad already," and he loved the attention. But behind closed doors, he complained about money, about stress, about me. "You're getting so emotional," he'd say. "You cry over everything. Are you sure you're ready to be a mom?" Layla was born on a rainy Thursday. She had a full head of hair and the biggest, calmest eyes I'd ever seen. The moment I held her, everything else went quiet. Andre held her too, for a minute. Then he went outside to smoke and answer congratulatory calls. The first year was hard. I barely slept. I learned how to swaddle with one hand and send work emails with the other. Andre helped sometimes, when it was convenient, when he felt like playing family man on social media. He loved taking pictures with Layla. He did not love midnight feedings, doctor's appointments, or paying for diapers. When Layla turned 3, our relationship finally fell apart. He cheated on me openly. He came home smelling like perfume, with glitter on his shirt, with lipstick smudges he didn't even bother to hide. When I confronted him, he said, "You're suffocating me. I need space. You and Layla are always on my back." I kicked him out. For a few months, things were quiet. He came to see Layla on some weekends, skipped others, always with some excuse. Then he met someone new, a woman who, from what I saw online, loved drama as much as he did. Suddenly, everything became a performance. He started posting pictures with Layla every time he did see her. Daddy-daughter time, nothing more important. People commented, "Such a good father, even after the breakup," and he soaked it in. What they didn't see were the messages he sent me in between. "You're poisoning her against me. She told me you cried in the kitchen. You're making her anxious. You're not stable, Tasha. Maybe I should get custody." Those words, "get custody," made my blood run cold. I wasn't perfect, but I was trying. I worked. I cooked. I helped Layla with her letters and numbers. I tucked her in every night with a story. Sometimes I cried after she slept. I was exhausted, but I never took it out on her. Then one afternoon, everything changed. I was at home folding laundry when there was a knock on the door. I opened it to find a woman with a badge and a clipboard. "Hi," she said gently. "My name is Miss Rivera. I'm from Child Protective Services. We received a report and I need to talk to you." The world tilted. I gripped the doorframe. "A report? About me?" She nodded. "Can I come in? We can talk on the couch." My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Inside, Layla was in the living room coloring quietly. She looked up and smiled at the stranger. "Hi," she said. "I'm Layla. Do you like purple?" Miss Rivera smiled back. "I do like purple. Nice to meet you, Layla." We sat down. Miss Rivera's voice stayed calm. "I want you to know something from the start," she said. "The fact that I'm here doesn't mean you're guilty of anything. It means someone made a report, and our job is to check on the safety of the child. That's all. I nodded, barely breathing. Who made the report? I asked, even though I already knew the answer. She glanced at her papers. It was an anonymous call, but the person identified himself as the child's father. Of course. What did he say? I whispered. She read from the form. He said the mother is emotionally unstable, screams at the child daily, leaves her alone for long periods, and may be abusing substances. He said the child comes back from visits scared and withdrawn. I felt like I'd been slapped. I don't do any of that, I said quickly. I don't drink, I don't use drugs, I don't leave her alone. I work from home most days. My mother lives 10 minutes away and helps all the time. Miss Rivera nodded. That's why we're here, to see for ourselves. Would it be okay if I took a quick look around the house? Just to see where Layla sleeps, where you keep food, that kind of thing? I stood up on shaky legs. She checked the fridge. There was food. She checked Layla's room, toys, books, a small bed with a pink blanket. She checked the bathroom, clean, stocked. Then she sat on the rug and talked to Layla while I listened from the doorway. What do you like to do with Mommy? She asked. Layla thought for a second, then smiled. We dance in the kitchen, she said. And we make pancakes. And Mommy reads me stories with funny voices. Does Mommy ever hurt you? Miss Rivera asked gently. Layla frowned. Hurt me? No. She hugs me like this. Layla threw her arms around herself to demonstrate. Does Mommy leave you alone a lot? Miss Rivera continued. Layla shook her head. She's always here. Sometimes she's on the computer and I draw next to her. When she goes out, Grandma comes. Or I go to Grandma's. By the end of the visit, Miss Rivera's shoulders seemed more relaxed. She turned to me and said, From what I see today, your home is safe and your daughter is cared for. I will still have to write a report, but I don't see signs of neglect. I burst into tears. I'm so sorry, I said, wiping my face. The idea that someone could think I'd hurt her. She handed me a tissue. I understand. These calls can be traumatic, especially when they're used as a weapon in conflicts between adults. But our job is to look at facts, not just accusations. Before she left, she added, This may not be the last time he tries something like this. Document everything. Keep messages. If he threatens to call CPS again, write it down. I nodded, still shaking. When the door closed, I sat on the floor and cried. Layla climbed into my lap and patted my face. Don't cry, Mommy, she said. Did I do something bad? That broke me even more. No, baby, I whispered. You did everything right. Mommy just got scared. But we're okay. I should have known it wasn't over. 2 months later, he did it again. This time, the knock came in the evening, just as I was putting Layla's dinner on the table. It was Miss Rivera again. She looked apologetic. Hi, Tasha. I'm sorry to bother you again. My heart dropped. He called again, didn't he? She nodded. This time, the report says the child told her father you hit her with a belt and locked her in the bathroom. We have to check. My knees went weak. I have never hit Layla with anything, I said. The most I do is a timeout in the corner for 2 minutes, and even that breaks my heart. Miss Rivera believed me. I could see it in her eyes. But belief isn't always enough. I know, she said softly. But the system requires us to follow up. Would it be okay if I talked to Layla alone for a few minutes this time? Alone. I didn't like the idea, but I knew refusing would only make things worse. Okay, I said. I'll be in the kitchen. She knows you now. I watched from the doorway as she sat with Layla on the couch. They played with a stuffed animal while she asked questions. Has Mommy ever hit you? No. Has Mommy ever locked you in a room, like the bathroom or closet? Layla made a face. No. That's weird. Do you ever feel scared at home? Layla thought hard, then said, Sometimes Mommy cries in her room. I don't like it when she's sad. Does she cry because of you? Miss Rivera asked gently. Layla shook her head. No. She cries after she talks on the phone with Daddy. I closed my eyes. There it was. Miss Rivera finished, thanked Layla, and came to the kitchen. Her voice dropped to a whisper. She seems fine. No signs of fear toward you. No marks on her body. She actually speaks more about tension with her father. I exhaled. I don't know what else to do, I said. He's using the system to punish me. He doesn't want full custody. He just wants control. She hesitated, then said, Off the record. Start recording your phone calls with him. Check your state's laws, but if it's one-party consent, you're allowed to record conversations you're part of. If this escalates legally, having his actual words will matter. That night, after Layla slept, I Googled one-party consent recording law for my state. It was legal. If I was on the call, I could record it. So I did. The next time Andre called to argue about pickup times, I hit record. The time after that, when he yelled because I wouldn't switch weekends so he could take Layla to some last-minute event with his new girlfriend, I hit record. I started saving messages, screenshots, everything. Sometimes I felt paranoid. Sometimes I felt like a private detective in my own life. Then one day the call came that changed everything. It was a Sunday evening. Layla had just come back from his place. She was quiet, not her usual chatty self. I knelt down and asked, How was your weekend with Daddy? She shrugged. It was okay. Just okay. She fidgeted with her sleeve. Daddy's girlfriend said you're in trouble, she mumbled. She said people might take me away because you're crazy. My heart stopped. Who told you that? I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. She did, Layla said. She said I should tell Daddy if you ever hit me, so he can save me. I felt a cold rage spread through my body. I tucked Layla into bed early with her favorite cartoon on the tablet, then stepped into the hallway and called Andre. I hit record before he even answered. He picked up on the third ring. What? He snapped. What did you and your girlfriend tell Layla? I asked, skipping any greeting. He laughed. Relax. We just told her the truth. That if you keep acting crazy, CPS will take her away. My blood boiled. I am not crazy, I said through clenched teeth. And you had no right to talk to her like that. She's 6. She came home scared. She should be scared, he said. You yelling all the time, crying, making everything dramatic. I don't yell all the time, I cut in. I cry in my room sometimes so she doesn't see. I work, I feed her, I take care of her. You see her 4 days a month and act like you're her savior. He scoffed. I'm the stable parent, he said. You're emotional. And anyway, CPS believes me. They've come twice already. I swallowed my fear. They came and saw the truth, I said. They saw a safe home, a happy child. They saw your lies. He got angrier. You think this is over? He said. I can keep calling. I'll keep telling them you're unfit. I'll tell them you hit her, you scream at her, you leave her alone. I'll make them listen. One of these days, they'll take you seriously. You're admitting you're lying? I said quietly. On what basis? I'm not lying, he snapped. I'm exaggerating for a good cause. For a good cause, I repeated. What cause is that, Andre? To get my daughter away from you before you ruin her, he said. You're too attached. You baby her. You cry. You're weak. You're not good for her mental health. Then he said the line that burned into my memory. I will keep calling CPS until they take you seriously or take her away from you. One of the two is going to happen. He hung up. I stood there, phone in my hand, heart racing, tears streaming down my face. I replayed the call, hearing his voice from the outside, the way he twisted reality, the way he proudly admitted he'd keep calling until something broke. It hit me. He didn't care about Layla's safety. He cared about winning. The next day, I called Miss Rivera. I said, I need to show you something. And I need to talk to a lawyer. She arranged a meeting at the CPS office. When I arrived, it wasn't just her. Her supervisor was there too. We sat at a small table in a windowless room. I took out my phone, hands trembling slightly. I recorded my last call with Andre, I said. I think you need to hear it. They nodded. I pressed play. We listened to his voice fill the room. We heard him say I was crazy, unstable, a bad influence. We heard me deny hitting Layla. We heard him say clearly, I will keep calling CPS until they take you seriously or take her away from you. One of the two is going to happen. When the recording ended, the supervisor leaned back, exhaled slowly, and said, "That's very telling." Miss Rivera looked almost relieved. "This lines up with what we've observed," she said. "Layla appears bonded to you, not afraid. Your home is stable. We have not seen evidence to support his claims. This call shows intent to misuse the system." "Misuse?" I repeated. The supervisor nodded. "We have a term for this: malicious reporting. When someone repeatedly makes unsubstantiated reports to harass or control another parent." He continued, "We can't stop anyone from making a report if they truly believe a child is in danger. But when it's clearly being used as a weapon, like here, we document that. If he calls again, this recording will be part of the file." I felt something in my chest loosen. "So what does that mean for me?" I asked, voice small. Miss Rivera answered, "It means that, from our perspective, you are not considered a high-risk household. Future reports from him will be viewed in the context of this pattern, and if there's a custody case, this recording will be very important." I left their office and went straight to a family lawyer. When I played the recording for her, she didn't look surprised. She said, "We see this all the time. Usually it's the mother being accused, sometimes it's the father, but it's always the same tactic. Weaponize the system and hope fear does the rest. This recording is gold. We filed for a formal custody agreement, something I had avoided because I hoped we could handle things informally. In court, Andre showed up in a suit that didn't quite fit, flanked by his new girlfriend, who glared at me like I'd stolen something from her. His lawyer painted a picture of me as unstable, hysterical, too attached. They said I cried in front of the child, that I alienated Layla from her father, that I refused to cooperate. My lawyer waited patiently. Then she said to the judge, "Your Honor, before we continue with testimonies, we'd like to submit a recording of a phone conversation between the father and the mother, where the father clearly states his intention to continue making CPS reports until the child is removed from her mother." The judge raised an eyebrow. "You have such a recording?" "Yes, Your Honor," my lawyer said. "It was legally obtained. The mother was a participant in the call, and in this state, that is sufficient." They played it. The whole courtroom heard Andre's voice. "I will keep calling CPS until they take you seriously or take her away from you. One of the two is going to happen." Silence. The judge looked at him. "Mr. Johnson," she said slowly, "do you understand what this sounds like from where I'm sitting?" He stammered. "I was just upset. I didn't really mean—" She cut him off. "You called CPS twice on this woman," she said. "Both times, the home was found safe. The child was found bonded and well cared for. There were no marks, no signs of neglect. And now we have you on record admitting you will continue to make reports until either the agency or this court removes the child. That is not concern. That is harassment." His mouth opened and closed like a fish. His lawyer looked like he wanted to sink into the floor. My lawyer stayed quiet, letting the judge's words hang in the air. In the final ruling, the judge said, "This court sees no evidence that the mother is unfit. On the contrary, the child appears healthy, attached, and thriving in her care. The father's behavior, including the misuse of protective services, raises concerns about his judgment. She granted me primary physical custody. Andre got visitation, structured, regular, but with clear boundaries. And Mr. Johnson," the judge added, "if you make another CPS report that is found to be unsubstantiated, this court will consider sanctions. Do not weaponize child protection for personal grievances." When we left the courtroom, Andre brushed past me in the hallway. "You think you won?" he hissed. "You turned everyone against me." I looked him in the eye and said, "You did that yourself." I just pressed record. Months later, things are calmer. Layla still sees her father. I would never keep her from someone she loves unless he truly became a danger. But the calls stopped. The threats stopped. The "I'll call CPS" messages stopped. One evening, as I tucked Layla into bed, she asked, "Mommy, are the people with clipboards coming back?" I smoothed her hair. "No, baby," I said softly. "Not unless someone really needs help. They came to check on us, and they saw we're okay." She nodded, satisfied. "Good," she said, "because I like living here. You make the best pancakes." I kissed her forehead, tears in my eyes. I'm not a perfect mom, I thought, but I'm her mom, and I'm a good one. If you're a parent being called crazy, unfit, unstable, just because you left someone who wanted to control you, remember this: loving your child, feeding them, protecting them, sometimes crying in the next room because you're overwhelmed, that doesn't make you unfit. And if someone tries to twist the story and use systems meant to protect children as weapons, don't just defend yourself with emotions. Defend yourself with receipts. Sometimes, the difference between losing everything and keeping your life intact is one brave decision to hit record and say, "This is what really happened."